In this video, I will be doing something a bit different. As you guys know, I normally do the tutorial style videos. More of those are coming, by the way. They are very informative and you should like and subscribe for that. Anyway, I never show my creative process though, and I think it would be a cool idea to give you a glimpse of the mental chaos that happens when I create an art piece. And what better way to do that than an art challenge? Boy, time to test my patience. I can't wait. Anyway, so yeah, the art challenge is the one color challenge. For those of you who don't know what the one color challenge is, basically, when I make an artwork, I only use one color. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, right? I don't know what else you want me to say. It's in the name, for crying out loud. If you didn't figure that out, skip this video. I'm joking. Please, I need the support. Let's get started. Whoa. Pause. Are you okay? You seem a bit tense. Relax and sit down. You know, here in Young Artisan Spa, we treat our cult members with the most care. Would you like a coffee or some tea? What's that? You're not a cult member. How did you even get in? I'm afraid I have to take that coffee back and ask you to leave. We only cater to our esteemed cult members. What is the cult and how do you become a member? Simple. I started the Artisan Cult. We are a secret underground group of like-minded artists whose aim is to control the art world from the shadows. We talk about all things art in the world, and we have a long-term goal of overthrowing AI art and restoring the power to the artist. You join by simply liking this video and subscribing to this channel and turning on the notification bell so you know when next I upload. Rumor has it I'm going to send my followers an assignment soon, so make sure join the cult soon. So the first thing I have to do for this challenge is choose a color. I have a color wheel here that will determine that for us. I'm hoping for blue. It's my favorite color. What I don't want is red. Okay. Alright then. I guess it's time to let the self-torture begin. I can't believe of all the options. Okay, now that we have red as our color, unfortunately, it's time to look up references for red objects on Pinterest. There are so many options of what I can draw, but none of them are going for the vibe I want. So I will cut to when I find the objects I want to match the mood I'm going for. Okay, so here are my objects. These look like a heavy metal album cover, and that's really the vibe I'm going for, like that epic, gritty, hard metal kind of vibe. Red is normally associated with anger and rage, so I wanted to play into that, and I found stuff on Pinterest to complement it. I like Berserk, and I mean the 90s version, not all the newer ones. And I'm currently reading the manga, so don't even start. Anyway, so I chose a Berserk skull. I like the idea of an angry crow or raven or whatever it is, and the thundery cloud background is cool. I found these glowing teeth things and like this mask with like the neon red mask, which is cool. I don't know where I'm gonna put them in the piece yet, but we'll find a way somewhere. So here's the sketch. The idea is I will have the skull on the ground and a guy stepping on the skull like he's trying to crush it with his feet. Then I will have the raven perched on his arm like it's his pet or something, while the background will be this stormy lightning, thundery cloud thing. I'll probably put like the cross eyes on the guy and like the teeth on his face or something like that. So I started with the stormy background. This was my favorite part of the rendering. Surprisingly, it was quick and it was kind of easy. You will see why in the next few minutes why it's my favorite though. Let me give you an insight to my thought process. Remember my contrast video? See here for the video after this one, of course. So I talked about color contrast and value contrast. Those are my two go-to types of contrast. I can't use color contrast because, well, that would defeat the purpose of this entire thing. So I doubled down on the value contrast. The range of values I used for the background are bright red to slightly below mid-tone red, and the subjects will be slightly above mid-tone to dark red. That way they stand out from the background. Make sense? Makes sense. Perfect. After I was done the background, I moved on to the skull. This was my time to experiment. Normally I obsess over making an artwork look as realistic as possible, but I recently had the revelation, but why though? Seriously though, why does it have to be as realistic as possible? So I toned it down a bit and tried to go more painterly. So I just threw down values with less care and made it seem like someone actually made it instead of a carbon copy of a photo. Next was the raven. This was the same thing for the most part. Ravens are black, so I used a really dark red and added minimal highlights. Now for the guy. Oh, the guy. This was when the challenge started to break down my mental health. Let me tell you why. Get this. I put all my skill points over the years into anatomy. So I got a little bit cocky and I was like, I don't need a reference. I know the anatomy of the body perfectly. So without searching for a reference, I just started sketching. I started drawing the body, like the upper body, and it was okay. It wasn't my best work, but it was okay. Then I got to the legs, and that was when it started to go downhill. The legs, particularly the bent one, my brain absolutely crashed while making it. I struggled so hard with the perspective and musculature of the leg, and I don't know what it was that had me a bind like this. So I frustratingly took a break and resumed the next morning. And did that make it worse? When I came back the next day, I hated everything. I hated the skull, I hated the raven. Like I said, I was going for a more painterly look, but I'm so used to doing realism that when I see painterly stuff, my brain automatically assumes it's incomplete. And this only happens with my work. When I see other people's artwork that's painted, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But when it comes to mine, when I have that painterly style, it almost seems incomplete. So I didn't like them. The only thing I still liked the next morning was the background. But nevertheless, I persisted with the self-torture. I found another reference which I liked. Keep in mind, I'm actually using a reference this time because I got humbled quickly. And I drew from that reference because it was a better pose, and clearly I bit off more than I can chew. And I like this one more, and I started rendering, trying not to focus on photorealism, and this is what I got. And it's okay, I guess. So I imported it into the other file and positioned everything how I wanted and added clouds to make it seem like he's sitting on the clouds, and so I won't have to render legs again after that horror show. And then after all that, I added the effects. I added these butterflies. I forgot to mention earlier that I feel like it would be a nice complement to the rage, like the peacefulness of the butterflies would be a nice complement to the rage in the piece. And this is the final result. What do you think? I sort of like it. I'm still trying to get used to the painterly style, and I started to like the skull and raven again. I liked it, they hated it, and then I liked it. So yeah, it's kind of been a roller coaster with this one. Let me know what you think of the end result in the comments and if I completed the challenge. So while editing the video, I looked at the final result again, and I hated it more than ever for the same reason. Yep, I know. And I can't in good conscience subject you all to that monstrosity of an artwork. I tried to make it work, I really did, but some art ideas are just not meant to be, and that's okay. Maybe I'll do it again later. But I redid the whole thing, and by redid I mean changed the entire concept, and I changed the vibe entirely. So this video is already long, so I'm going to speed through what I did in the second half. You ready? Okay. I wanted to do a jellyfish because it's an ocean animal and I love ocean animals. Normally red means anger and rage, but I wanted to spin the narrative and make something calming and elegant and peaceful. So I went on Pinterest and found jellyfish pictures that I liked, and I want to give them a fantasy feel. So I searched up medieval embroidery because that's normally associated with fantasy, and to see if I can add them anywhere in the jellyfish. After I got my references, I started sketching, combining all my favorite elements. I really like this frilled tentacle thing on this jellyfish. It's so unique, so I tried to add that in somewhere. I've never seen that before. It's so cool. Then I got to rendering. I went for a simple dark background to contrast with the glowing jellyfish. I rendered the jellyfish next, trying to make it seem like it's glowing. I did the bell of the jelly, then the weird middle piece that some jellyfish have, then the tentacles. I added glow dodge to some parts to make it seem bioluminescent, then I added the fantasy pattern on the jelly's bell, and then added some particle effects, and done. Okay, this is the actual final result. I like this one much more. It's much cooler and I can actually sleep at night. I must say I am proud of myself for completing the challenge despite the mini existential crisis I had halfway through. So yeah, let me know which one you like more. You already know where I stand. You've seen both. Alright, I'm gone. Bye, I guess.